Congratulations! You've got your fish on order. What happens next? Once you've issued payment, your fish are on the list for scheduling and harvest and well on their way to their new home, your lake or pond. We want you to know exactly what you can expect throughout this process, whether it's your first or your 100th order. Step 1. Scheduling. We schedule deliveries at least 2 weeks in advance. This way, if you want to be there and see your fish, you can do that. If you're not able to be there for your delivery, that's okay. We will always take videos of your fish being delivered and provide them after your delivery so that you can still see your fish. Once we have your order scheduled, the harvest process begins. Fish are brought up out of ponds using a seine net pulled by tractors or machines across thousands of acres of ponds, then weighed and counted, then placed on trucks for transport according to that week's specific order counts and routes. This process requires several days. Then trucks are filled with treated water, oxygenated, and water brought to appropriate temperature just before loading. This is why we can't reschedule deliveries. Once the fish are up, they have to go to their destination, or we have to put them back and then start the harvest all over again. At that point, the fish may or may not be available again, or in the correct condition to transport. Once we arrive on site for deliveries, sometimes we find that the pond is right off the driveway. Other times, fish must be carried several hundred feet or yards from the truck by hand or by ATV. Because this can add so much time to a delivery, we try to determine this distance before we arrive on site so we can plan accordingly for each stop. Fish must then be weighed off the truck at each stop, according to each client's individual order. Rather than count tens of thousands of minnows, which isn't feasible, fish are assigned a weighted count when they are placed on the truck, so that we know how many fish are in each pound at each smaller size grade. Once the fish are on the trucks, deliveries begin immediately. At each client's stop, fish must be acclimated to that specific pond's temperature, which will vary at each location depending on pond size, depth, water quality, and other factors. Fish have to be hauled at a temperature around 60 degrees on the trucks. Ponds can range up to 30 degrees in temperature difference depending on the time of year. The greater the difference, the longer it takes to acclimate, therefore, the longer the delivery takes. If fish are not acclimated properly or slowly enough, there is a risk of them dying, which is the opposite of what we all want. All of these factors are reasons why it's not possible to predict exact arrival times, but instead, windows. Our highest priority is the safe and healthy arrival of your fish. If you've purchased a feeder or feed to go with your order, those will also be assembled and installed once we've got your fish in the water. We'll set your timer up for you and show you how to use it before you go. Now, all you've got left to do is enjoy your pond and your new fish. After all, that's what this is all about. Thanks for choosing us, and happy fishing.